Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all having an awesome day. And I have a very nice game to show you today, played in the 5th round of the Sinquefield Cup in St. Louis. This game is played between Liren and Anish Giri. So without further ado, let's get into this game. So Ding had the white pieces. He opened with d4. I'm going to go through the opening very quickly. The opening was a Queen's Gambit decline, Ragozin variation. So here bishop takes c3 was the new move in the position, and Giri played bishop d7, threatening a discovery with the bishop. So bishop e2 from Ding, which protects the pawn at d4, and Giri played e5, challenging the center and also renewing the threat of knight takes d4. So queen to c2, we have bishop f5, queen b2, e4, inconveniencing the knight, knight d2, and knight to a5, simply defending b7. Then castled, we have c5, rook fd1, rook a c8. Now here's where things start to get very interesting. Knight f1 from Ding. So Ding goes for an interesting plan. He wants to put some pressure on e4 and see how Giri reacts to this. Bishop g6 from Giri, knight g3, queen g5. I suspect that this was what Ding was hoping for. So we can see that Black's plan is to defend with f5. So more pressure with queen b1. f5 from Giri. And now we have d takes c5 from Ding, capturing away from the center and also damaging his structure. So Ding pounces on the fact that Black's queen is sidetracked, and he hopes that his later control of the d file will give him decent chances. So very interesting play by Ding. Rook takes c5, and now Ding anchors his rook on d4. And obviously Black doesn't want to capture, since that will only heal White's structure and give him a protected pass pawn. Bishop f7. Now Ding's decision to play d takes c5 is a trade-off. Giri in turn wants to blockade on the c4 square. Rook c to d1, we have rook c to d8. And now bishop b5. So the start of a brilliant maneuver by Ding, this bishop b5. This also seems to threaten bishop d7 in some lines. For example, let's just make a waiting move, say a6. So the queen is trying to protect this pawn, but after rook d6, where White is better in this position, and this pawn is eventually going to fall. So therefore, Giri played g6, protecting f5, but the king is feeling quite airy. So can Ding take advantage of this compromise by Giri? So Ding played knight to e2. The knight has done its job of pressuring the pawns, and now has the task of temporarily defending the c3 pawn. Queen f6, so Giri knows that his queen is misplaced, and he brings it back into the game, now threatening maybe queen b6 to try and simplify the position. Therefore, bishop a4 from Ding. And now Giri played queen to e5. So maybe trying to avoid any potential rook d6 ideas. And now Ding continued his maneuver, bishop to b3, very good move. So this kind of forces a trade on his terms. Trading the bishop would leave Black's king incredibly exposed. Giri opted to exchange his knight for the bishop with knight takes b3. Knight c4 is also possible, but does have the drawback of blocking the rooks. And this in turn frees up the knight on e2, Ding could potentially have some ideas like maybe play h4 just to secure that knight on f4. And we can see that his rooks can infiltrate black's position at any time, as opposed to Giri's rooks, which are kind of blocked by this knight. Plus, if the knight ever moves back, then this simply plays into Ding's hands, since he is able to exchange off the bishops. So knight takes b3 from Giri. Giri didn't have much of a choice. This now improves Ding's structure. And now Giri played a bit passively. He played the rook back to c7. So perhaps he could have been more active with a5. I'm not sure if this is better than his move rook 5 to c7, but it gives white something to worry about. The big idea is maybe to play b5 and a4. So just something to worry about for white. But in the game we see rook 5 to c7. And now Ding continued with c4. So the plan is, well, he clearly wants to put a piece on d5. And perhaps Giri should have tried to disrupt it with the immediate pawn to b5. But instead we see the more modest a6. And then b5 from Giri, but perhaps this was a bit slow, because now the knight lands on d5 and c5. So this pawn is immune, because if rook takes c5, then comes knight b6, followed by knight to d7. So Giri played a5, b4 from Ding. The pawn is still immune, and white's position is looking more promising. Rook b8 from Giri, just defending. Knight b6 from Ding, threatening knight d7. So Giri played bishop to e6. Not the best defense according to the engines, but you can't really blame Giri because his position is already rather difficult. And now Ding seizes the opportunity to remove this bishop, which is a key defensive piece around black's king. And you can see that without that bishop, this king is just incredibly exposed. Queen c3, once again stopping mate on g7. Queen a2 check, rook c4. So before continuing the attack, Ding has one final problem to solve, which is his weak back rank. So he simply played g3. So who would have foreseen that the domination down the d file would lead to this? I mean, this is just absolutely hopeless for Anish Giri. The game continued on for a few more moves. And in this position, Anish Giri resigned. So once the queen joins in the attack, it's going to be game over. For example, king g8, simply queen to e2, and mate soon to follow. A beautiful game by Ding Liren, and he now joins Viswanathan Anand and Fabiano Caruana in the lead. Once again, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, feel free to do so. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.